When you hear the word luxury, what comes to mind? Perhaps a designer handbag, a 5-star resort, a car that when you open the doors, they rise like wings. But these definitions are very narrow, and rethinking them can change the trajectory of your entire business. There is a hidden market, and if you're a founder, a consultant, a creative entrepreneur, you need to be aware of it to see if you should be or already are subconsciously but not intentionally playing within it. We've been sold a myth that luxury is all about cost, that if there isn't a comma in the price tag, then something cannot be labeled as high end. But luxury isn't a number. It's a strategy, a feeling, a way of building trust through beauty, intentionality, and scarcity. There are $30 items that feel absolutely premium and $30,000 experiences that feel cheap. True luxury isn't about flash. It's about frictionless presence. And when done well, it creates something so rare in today's market. Desirability without desperation. There are 5 common qualities that every single high-performing luxury brand that I've been a part of, studied, or consulted with obtains. Firstly, exclusivity. The most well-positioned luxury brands are not focused on mass reach. They are choosy, and their audience likes and prefers that because that means that they can provide excellent experiences. Secondly, emotional depth. These brands do not just solve problems through their functionality, they change how people feel about themselves. Thirdly, high perceived value. This isn't just about things as shallow as materiality. It's about storytelling and experience that makes things feel rare. Something that we can deep dive on another day is the fact that diamonds are not actually a rare stone. So then what makes them so valuable? Well, it was a whole large campaign and a story and the connection between a diamond and love that created such a roar around this material, even though it was inherently no better than another stone, and it created the perception of luxury. So who's to say that you can't do something similar for your own brand, your own offerings, no matter what materials you are or are not using in your product and service? The 4th attribute is consistency, a recognizable tone, aesthetic, and rhythm across all of your touch points, from website to scent to showroom to onboarding email, is so deeply valuable. 5th and final is intentional slowness. Luxury brands take their time. They're not in a rush to the market because their value does not depend on urgency. It depends on confidence. So let's rethink what counts. I want to share a few industries that don't immediately come to mind when people think about the label of luxury, but absolutely are. Specialized medical services, think plastic surgeons, dermatology clinics, with experiences as highly personalized and emotionally transformative as these. I don't know what else to label them other than prestige or luxury brands. Boutique architecture, interior design studios, general contractors, this high-touch collaboration, reputation-based referral business model, the long timelines that these projects often demand. These are clearly luxury, even if the client doesn't walk away with a bag. Cultural wellness brands, especially those centered on identity, belonging, and ritual. When positioned well, these brands become sanctuaries, not just services. Retreat spaces and vacation homes. These are the slower, more intentional cousins of businesses in the traditional hospitality sector, thinking of fine dining restaurants or fancy hotels. And often they are more emotionally rich. Specialty food and beverages, Think heirloom teas, bespoke honey, handmade mezcal, nothing that is mass produced, but rather products that are soulful, storied, and designed for that moment of savoring. Creative consultancies like ours, where the thinking is the luxury and the clients are not necessarily just investing in a deliverable, but rather the discernment it takes to move them towards a certain business outcome. If you are a creative, if you are business-minded, you may already have a luxury offering on your hand, but you are simply mispositioned. So if your work is high touch, if your business is driven by care, context, and craft, if your clients choose you for your refined vision and not the volume that you're able to pump out, you might have the bones of a luxury brand. However, if your visuals say I'm affordable and your copy says I'm accessible to everyone and your prices say pick me please, then your brilliance is being buried under bad positioning. Luxury isn't about ego. It's about clarity. You have to know who you are and own it in every pixel, every paragraph, and every process. Here's what I've learned after over a decade in the space. You cannot charge like a luxury brand, sell like a luxury brand, scale like a luxury brand if your strategy is still playing in the middle market. Strategy is what makes your brand coherent. It fuels growth. And it de-risks every single dollar that you spend on any other business effort. It's what separates a talented freelancer or an ambitious startup from a sought-after legacy powerhouse. If this opened something up for you and you're starting to think that you've been hiding your brilliance under the wrong brand, this is exactly what I do. This video is inspired by several people reaching out to me and my team and asking the question of, I don't know if we're luxury enough for you. We're not necessarily selling $1,000 handbags or expensive jewelry. And even though, yes, those types of businesses fall squarely within the types of markets that we serve, many of our clients are in these stretch zones and areas that I've been sharing and talking about. At Atelier Oluwatosin, we build brands with beauty, brilliance, and emotional depth. And we serve the founders that are ready to take up space boldly and elegantly. Reach out to us. Let's talk about your specifics. And we invite you to subscribe to our channel for more content. We'll talk to you very soon.